The story begins by introducing the characters, Jae-Kyung, an 18-year-old student, and his friend Kiryong, who we'll call Kairi. When Jae arrives at school, he greets Kairi and mentions that he's very smiley but somewhat awkward, with a leaf on his head. Kairi playfully removes the leaf, and we see the two friends are very close, spending time together at school and on their way home. One day, a strong guy, whom we'll call Hulk, asks Kairi if Jae is his girlfriend, but Kairi clarifies that they are just friends, though he admits to himself that Jae is quite cute. Despite Jae's occasional carelessness, like on the bus, Kairi doesn't have romantic feelings for her. After school, the two friends walk around the neighborhood, and Jae asks Kairi what they'll do next. Kairi says they'll go play, but when Jae asks to join, he tells her it's a guy's night, even though Jae gets sad. Kairi wonders if he could ever open to someone as pure as Jae. Later, after a night of playing with Hulk, Kairi realizes it's very late and he's in Jae's neighborhood. He considers seeing her, but quickly dismisses the idea, knowing it's strange for her to be out so late. However, he suddenly spots a familiar silhouette, it's Jae, and she's smoking. Jae gets nervous and tries to hide the cigarette from Kairi, begging him not to tell anyone. Kairi is surprised to see the innocent-looking Jae engaged in such behavior, and he remains silent, only telling her that he needs to leave. Kairi is ignoring what Jae is trying to tell him, completely oblivious as he is taken by surprise. But suddenly, he hears a voice, "Hey, I'm talking to you, are you ignoring me?" Kairi replies in a trembling voice, "It's not like that." Jae, with a firm tone, tells him, "Keep it a secret." An ensuing silence is broken when Kairi fearfully responds, "Yes." Jae then returns to his normal demeanor and bids farewell to Kairi, reminding him not to reveal anything to anyone. Kairi, however, seems unsettled, perhaps even excited by the situation. The next day, Kairi appears a bit pensive, but Jae awkwardly breaks the tension. Kairi tries to help her, but when they touch hands, Jae flinches. As Jae lies on the floor, Kairi apologizes, and they proceed with their lessons. When Kairi asks if Jae is hurt, she claims her head hurts, prompting the teacher to call for quiet. Kairi suspects Jae is feigning her smile, but she is actually angry. Remembering the events from the previous night, Kairi feels a sense of fear. Jae inquires if Kairi has kept the secret, to which he replies in the affirmative. She then pats his head like a dog, but Kairi suddenly yells for her to let go. Realizing the commotion he has caused, Kairi quickly makes an excuse about his greasy hair, and Jae tells him to wash it. The teacher, irritated by the disruption, threatens to kick them out if they don't be quiet. Kairi notices that he feels strange every time Jae touches him, a sensation he didn't experience before. Jae then shows him a suspiciously funny drawing, causing Kairi to burst into laughter. The teacher scolds them again, this time visibly upset. He then pulls Kairi out of the classroom, and Jae seizes the opportunity to go to the bathroom. Kairi follows her and stumbles, but Jae is now the one with her hand outstretched, ready to help him. Kairi doesn't want to touch Jae, but she commands him in a stern voice, "Kiryong, give me your hand." Kairi stands up, and Jae asks if he's okay. He confirms, and she decides to go to the bathroom. That's when Kairi realizes he's entering adolescence. We then see Kairi shopping in a quiet store when Jae appears and greets him. He gets anxious and asks what she's doing there. She says she's going to the gym, but she's getting too close, causing Kairi to reflexively yell at her to back off. Still, he thinks Jae is pretty. Jae asks Kairi where he's going and if he can come to her house. In the next panel, we meet Kairi's 17-year-old sister Young, who asks for his snacks, revealing that's why he was at the store. Jae introduces herself, and Young reacts humorously, saying it's the end of the world if her brother brings a girl home. Young then introduces herself and leaves. Jae and Kairi decide to watch a movie together, even though Kairi notices Jae is already at his house. Jae wants to watch a gory movie, but Kyrie refuses. She proposes an erotic anime, which he also declines. They settle on an 18+ romantic movie, which Jae says has passionate scenes. Just then, Young remembers she needs to get her snacks and is surprised to find her brother and Jae watching a sexually charged film. First, the girl, Kyrie, decides to change the movie they were watching to avoid further complications. However, the new movie she selects turns out to be very boring, and Jae ends up falling asleep, leaning on Kyrie's shoulder, creating a somewhat romantic atmosphere. When the movie ends, Jae gets up as if nothing happened, and Kyrie apologizes for the boring movie choice. Later, Jae's father asks her about the movie, and she claims not to remember anything. The next day, Kyrie's family is watching the same boring movie, which reminds Kyrie of the previous day's events with Jae. Kyrie's sister then reveals that he had watched an adult movie with a girl, much to his father's apparent pride. In class, Kyrie is admiring Jae, but he becomes so confused that he starts imagining things about her. Jae notices his flustered state and teases him, saying that she also thinks of bold things when Kyrie is distracted. Kyrie tries to deny it, but Jae continues to tease him, calling him a pervert, much to Kyrie's embarrassment. Throughout the class, Jae continues to playfully tease Kyrie, and the teacher seems to be well compensated to put up with their antics. Finally, the text mentions that it's already noon and there's a soccer game coming up. The team managed to steal the ball from their opponents, but when they realized the goalkeeper was Kyrie, they immediately rallied behind him, hoping he would come through. However, Kyrie failed to catch the ball, which slowly rolled into the goal, leaving his team members stunned at his incompetence. They mocked him, but Jae came to Kyrie's defense, asking if he was okay. Kyrie assured Jae that he was fine, and Jae helped him up, despite Kyrie's embarrassment. The PE teacher then announced that it was time for the aptitude tests. Normally, Kyrie wouldn't have minded, but now he felt self-conscious with Jae around. Jae and Hulk were the first ones to take the test, with Jae doing 72 push-ups and Hulk impressing everyone by completing 415, claiming it was easy. Kyrie and another classmate were next, and while everyone mocked Kyrie, Jae sternly told them to be quiet. Kyrie did well, scoring more than 19 points, and Jae congratulated him and helped him walk. Earlier that day, Kyrie had accidentally collided with a classmate in the hallway, causing her to drop her phone. When Kyrie picked it up, he noticed she was looking at some disturbing, fetishistic content. She snatched the phone back and accused Kyrie of being a pervert, running away in a panic. The next day, Kyrie is in class when Jae tells her a very bad joke. When Kyrie doesn't react, Jae gets angry. Suddenly, the blue-haired girl from the previous day appears and introduces herself as Lee Seon. She says she wants to talk to Kyrie, but he doesn't know her or her name. Jae introduces them, and Lee says she saw something very private from Kyrie. Jae is confused and asks Kyrie for explanations, as if they were a couple. Before Kyrie can explain, Lee grabs him by his clothes and takes him away to the rooftop. Once there, Lee asks Kyrie if he finds her attractive. Kyrie is very confused about the relevance of this. Lee explains that people see her as a cute and innocent girl, and she wants to maintain that image, but she had a secret. Kyrie tells her that seeing something racy on one's own is normal, but Lee insists that she is a flower child and Kyrie found her out the day before. Kyrie continues to deny being a pervert and asks Lee to keep the secret. However, Lee doesn't believe him and says she will tell everyone, unless Kyrie shows her something private, so they can be even. As Kyrie values his self-respect, he struggles not to have his innocence taken away. That's when Jae arrives, sees them together, and hears Lee's request. Jae becomes serious, pushes Lee, and she falls backwards, seemingly hurting herself. Jae apologizes, saying she acted on instinct. It seems that Lee feels more than just pain, and appears to enjoy it. Jae tells Kyrie that Lee is a bit strange, and Kyrie agrees, saying that they should probably go somewhere else as Lee seems a bit crazy. Still, Jae seems concerned about Lee's words. Over the next few days, Lee becomes very attached to Kairi, constantly following him around. Kairi eventually yells at Lee, telling him to stop bothering him. This causes Lee to start crying, but before the situation can escalate further, the Hulk arrives. The Hulk tells them they are making too much noise and that he wants to go back to sleep. However, Lee doesn't care and calls the Hulk a pig, which annoys the Hulk. As a result, the Hulk picks Lee up and carries him like a sack of potatoes, looking like he's about to punish Lee. Lee pleads for his life, saying he'll never be the same after the punishment, but the others decide it's best to keep their distance from the madwoman, Lee. Jae starts feeling anxious again about the time Kairi has been spending with Lee. She asks Kairi if anything happened between them, and Kairi mentions that he saw a picture on Lee's phone but not much else. Kairi then asks Jae if it bothered her that he spent so much time with Lee, and Jae says no, though she seems to have become serious about the situation. We then see that Lee managed to escape the Hulk's punishment. The next day, Kairi is at the gym, tired from his workout, when he notices it's raining. He calls his sister to ask her to bring him an umbrella, agreeing to get her food in return. As Kairi is typing on his phone, Jae suddenly appears from behind and scares him. They talk a bit, and Jae asks Kairi if he brought his umbrella, to which Kairi replies that he didn't check the weather that day. Jae offers to share his umbrella with Kairi to walk home together, but Kairi says that's something only couples do. He then remembers his sister is coming with the umbrella and calls her, saying it's no longer needed. However, his sister disagrees, as she's on her way with the umbrella and needs to pick up a pizza. Kairi hangs up, and then a car splashes his sister, soaking her. The friends then set off on their journey home. Kairi notices that Jae's shoulder is getting wet from the umbrella, and he offers to hold it so she doesn't get wet. But Jae gets nervous, loses her balance, and falls into the water. Kairi asks if she's okay, but she's already soaked. Unsure how to react, Kairi apologizes. Jae, taking charge of the situation, tells Kairi that she's looking at them directly. Kairi denies this, but Jae teases him by calling him a pervert. In this episode, we see two friends discussing a situation involving a sister still waiting for pizza. One of them asks the other if they confessed to someone, and the response is that the confession was rejected because the person wasn't considered attractive enough. Then, Kairi appears, as usual, running and working out. The friends make fun of him, and one proposes a bet to the other: if the brown-haired one can make Kairi fall in love with her, the other will pay 100,000 won. The next day, Jae is talking to Kairi when a girl named Ha Jin-won, 18 years old, approaches them. Jin-won greets Kairi, who doesn't quite remember her name. She introduces herself seductively, and Jae doesn't seem pleased by this. Jin-won keeps conversing with Kairi, but internally wishes to just get his phone number. When she asks for it, the innocent Kairi questions why she wants it, surprising Jin-won, who expected him to simply give it to her. This makes Jin-won angry, but Kairi still doesn't see the need to share his number. Jae seems happy about this. Jin-won calms down and tells Kairi she was just curious about his number. Kairi then gives it to her and leaves with Jae to the cafeteria. Jin-won is very confused, as she can't believe there's a man who resists her charms, and even starts to wonder if Kairi might be interested in men. In PE class, Jin-won tries to talk to Kairi again, complimenting him, but Kairi simply thanks her. Jae is not pleased by this. Jin-won then tries to seduce Kairi by asking him to hold her legs during an exercise, but Kairi only mentions having met the best character in the manga, Hulk. It appears that Jin-won feels some fear towards Hulk. Jin-won seems disappointed in herself, even though Lee approaches her in a slightly strange manner. However, Jin-won doesn't give up and tries to seduce him or speak to Kairi multiple times. But Kairi only responds to her in a serious and disinterested way, like a typical friend. Ultimately, Jin-won runs away, and later in the bathroom, she mocks her friend for being unable to romance the loser, Kairi. Jin-won comes up with various hypotheses about why Kairi is not in love with her, but they don't reach any conclusions. Then Jae enters the scene, introducing herself and asking if Jin-won is interested in Kairi. The two girls claim they were not interested in Kairi and were just making a bet. Jae calls them out, saying it's wrong to bother their friend. The girls continue to tease Jae and Kairi, but Jae confronts them aggressively, asking what they're talking about. The girls seem a bit scared, but the black-haired one decides to face Jae. Jae has no intention to continue the conversation, as it doesn't seem like the girls are sorry. However, as Jae is leaving, the black-haired girl tries to attack her from behind, but Jae reacts quickly and knocks her down forcefully, causing the girl to cry out in pain. Jae mockingly asks if it hurt and gives a final warning before leaving the girls dumbfounded. Afterward, Jae reflects that she may have exaggerated a bit. Suddenly, Kairi appears, saying he's been looking for Jae everywhere, and he explains that it's because she wasn't by his side. While Jae initially gets enthusiastic, it doesn't last long. Kairi then inquiries about Jinwon's whereabouts, leading to Jae becoming upset and leaving without sharing a bite with him. The next day, Kairi encounters Jinwon, who greets him casually. However, Jinwon reacts negatively, telling Kairi not to be overly confident and cocky just because Kairi had spoken to him. At that moment, Jinwon notices Jae's presence and decides to leave. The chapter concludes with Jae rushing towards Kairi. Additionally, Lee was in the bathroom, simply enjoying the unfolding conflict between the others.